How can we take advantage of this kind of stock price increases in biotech companies? Can we identify a recurrent pattern? Here, we'll explore the best performing biotech stock of the week on the Nasdaq and learn from them from future opportunities. Hop in, let's get the taxi rolling. Today, we are starting in Granada, Spain, home to this iconic monument, the Alhambra. This one comes as a tourist recommendation. Welcome to Taxi Biotech, a program dedicated to discovering news and updates in the world of biotechnology and understanding their impact on the stock market. The stock data I present here reflects the trajectory of companies or their clinical trials and does not constitute any investment advice. This is purely for entertainment. Let's see what happened this week. Top 3 performers are Exicure with 500% increase, Forte Biosciences with 173% increase, and HCWB Biologics with 161% increase, with peaks as high as 700%. Let's start by looking at the stock float. We can see here that Exicure and Forte have around 1 million shares of float, which is very low. In a previous video, link above, we analyzed the sample of Brightman Bioscience, ticker drug. This channel is about learning, and that case teach us that companies with very small floats can experience massive price spikes when faced with positive or even speculative catalysis. I will keep a close eye on this type of companies and their news, and I'll share updates on my Twitter. Follow me. Let's analyze Exicure's chart. We see this increase 500% this week, a company that previously had a market cap of only 10 millions. On X, people were questioning why this is happening. The explanation is this company has a very small float, suggesting a speculative movement. However, notice this green line I mark here on the chart. It corresponds to a press release published on November 14th. This press release stated that shares worth 1.3 million were purchased initially, followed by an additional 8.7 million. This buy is the same as the entire market cap of this company. And who was behind it? This is the key. Hytron Systems. What does Hytron do? Okay, interestingly, nothing related to biotech. Hytron specializes in security systems. It appears they're acquiring the company to get listed on the Nasdaq. The press release also mentioned that in September 2022, the company halted its research activities and was exploring alternatives. In other words, the company was in a terrible state. And now the stock is skyrocketing. Can we capitalize on these situations? Yes. Look at the chart again. After the press release, marking green line here, there were 2 days to enter in the stock. On the first day, you might hesitate because the stock doesn't move. This is why I make these videos, to learn from these cases. On the next date, boom, it explodes. In these stocks, small investors, we have a significant advantage. The trading volume is very low. Look, only 4.5 million worth of shares are being bought and sold, meaning big players can't participate because they manage more and more and more and more money. But we, as small individual investors, can take advantage of these situations. Next, Forte Biosciences, ticker FBRX, with a small market cap of 20 millions. Forte is focused on treating diseases with monoclonal antibodies. On November 14th, they issued a press release with financial results and business updates. They highlighted their flagship molecule, FB102. They mentioned that in vitro studies showed positive results and that have early phase 1 trial with volunteer patients. However, their financials show they are running low on cash with only 16 millions in reserves and 28 millions in expenses over 9 months. Essentially, they need funding to continue the research. Typically, when a biotech company needs money, it resorts to raising capital by diluting investors, which causes the stock price to drop. But in this case, on November 20th, they announced 53 million in private funding to continue their work. As a result, the company's value increased and now has enough cash to fund its research without needing a public stock offering, which causes, usually, a drop in price. So, the investor now knows that the company is not going to do a public stock offering. So, in this case, the price impact was immediate and we wouldn't have had a chance to enter. Lastly, HCW Biologics peaked at 700%, setting a 160% increase in a week. This company also focused on inflammation, with different antibody programs primarily in preclinical stages. On the day the stock price increased, they announced a licensing agreement for developing a drug with a Chinese company. HCW is also running by Chinese executives. But in this case, HCW is going to receive 7 millions from this partnership. Again, there was no time to enter here. Even if we had the same night they announced here a public stock offering worth 6.9 million and the stock price corrected in the following days. In this case, they raised additional capital, and as you can see, it didn't go well. Days earlier, they had released financial results showing minimal cash reserve and 26 million in expense up to September. The 7 millions from the Chinese company wasn't enough to cover all the cost, which is why they had to raise more funds. The difference from Forte Biosciences is that the latter has enough cash to sustain operations for a while. However, HCW does not. And finally, let's summarize what we have learned from this analysis. Today's learnings are highlighted in yellow. We, as small investors, will have a huge opportunity in companies with a float of 1 million or less shares. Big investors can enter due to low volume, and these stocks don't usually show up in search engines. I will keep a close eye on this type of companies and their news, and I'll share updates on my Twitter. Follow me to be ready. Okay, this is the end for this taxi driver here in Granada, where you can find Sierra Nevada and also sunny places. And yes, this is a tourist recommendation. See you next video.